and imagine if there were multiple Martins, like, and if this became a thing.
No, you're
and
right.
If people thought that this was good.
It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 899th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I'm Chad Holloway, joined by Mike Holtz, Kyna England, and our special guest, Maria Konnikova, PokerStars Team Pro. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Of course, I'm so happy to be here for the special 899th episode. I feel like this is a pivotal moment, and I'm so glad that I could be here for it.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Martin Kabrhel. He is the anti-hero, love him or hate him, of the Wsop thus far. We're really going to get into it. And is he good for poker? We're going to talk about Maria Konnikova and all things going on PokerStars, NAPT. We're going to talk about recent tournament winners, bracelet winners, and even one from the Wynn. And then I'm going to share a little bit about Miami John Cernuto. I was at his celebration of life and got some highlights from that. So let's start. Martin Kabrhel, he is, yeah, I mean, love him, hate him. Mike, let's start with you.
Oh, I've not liked him as a person or a poker player for a very long time. And I've come around. I've come around now. I gotta say, I like his antics. I think he's good for the game. I think the stuff with the marking the cards and everything was weird and not cool, and I don't like any of that stuff. I think that's very strange.
Bad. Cheating very bad.
Not even to say that he was cheating, but just the idea that he's planting the seed in everybody else's head that I might be cheating.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that, and the rest of the players didn't really like that, right? So it makes sense. As of now, like, I like the banter. I like the old. It's got an old school vibe. You know what I mean? Like, he's witty. He balances it out. It's cool for me to watch. And when I was watching the 250K, my first thought was like, oh, let's see how many viewers there are. And there was like 26,000 viewers or something like that. 25,000 viewers.
Yeah,
that's a good amount for the WSOP streams on YouTube.
I was watching it yesterday too, and I think I agree a little bit.
3 days ago?
No, it was yesterday. Sorry.
Technically.
Back in time, yes, when they were streaming it on YouTube. No, I was watching it, and I agree. Like, I think I think he's entertaining. I don't know, but I also like in small doses. Like, after a while, like watching it, like it was started to be too much. Like, other people are in hands. Like, I don't know. It is. He's a character. He's putting on a show. I like the mosquito image that he puts out there, and when he's in a hand, okay, like do whatever you want. But I think it's rude to do it when other people are in a hand when you're not in the hand. I think that's uncalled for, and maybe tone it down a little bit. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I normally I'm someone who doesn't like to say bad things about people. Let it rip. And I don't like putting like negative energy, negative karma out there. But like, I am just going to completely disagree with you guys. I think Martin is such a net negative for the game. I don't think it's amusing. Having played with him many times.
Oh God.
I don't think it's funny. He stalls because he knows it gets under other people's skin and it makes it unplayable, right? If you have to call the clock on someone every single hand, can I swear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every fucking hand? What the fuck, right? Like,
no,
I want all of my energy to go towards playing good poker, like being in a good space. And he does everything possible to get you out of a good headspace, to kind of it's not even needling. It's just being obnoxious for no reason. Like, let me give you an example. So last year at the World Series, I was in the 25K, which was my biggest buy-in. It was, I don't usually play that high. Like, it's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal. It would be a big deal for anyone, I think.
And I was in a big hand. He was not in it. He was at my table. And I had a big decision and for all of my chips. And I was thinking, and he just would not shut up.
Yeah.
And he just like kept being like, oh, Maria, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, like, and then finally, like, when I ended up calling, was all in. He gets up from his seat, walks over, stands behind me and starts and I'm like, dude, like, this is not okay. This is my, you can't be in my personal space. You can't be doing this. And I do not find it amusing at all. I think it's a huge net negative for the game. I think every time that he does this, he should get penalties. And I think that sort of behavior should not be applauded. It's not good for viewership. The 250K had a lot of viewers because there were some of the best players in the world there. It had nothing to do with Martin. I'm sorry.
I disagree about that.
He might have had a little bit to do with it.
At least all the discourse I saw online.
Obviously, because he's the one who's the discourse, but the discourse isn't the viewers, right? I always view the streams I'm never in the discourse, right? Like it's
Sure.
like the loudest voices are always.
Well, for me, I usually don't watch any of the WSP streams because I'm playing all the time, or like I just, I usually watch highlights. That's what I do mostly.
Sure.
But yesterday, literally everything on Twitter and was like, this Kabrhel, this is crazy. I hate him. I like him. He's good for the game. He's bad for the game. So I tuned in. That's when and I watched like 20 minutes of it.
I think is not always good, and I don't think he's good for players. He creates a very bad atmosphere at the table where like it's just stressful. And the fact
and that's not okay.
And it's not okay. And the card marking thing, yes, I know he wasn't actually cheating that particular time, but he wanted people to think he might
Which
be.
is also incredibly uncool.
And that's not cool. And I mean, I am so like my next book is about cheating in games.
Oh, really?
And like I have zero tolerance for angle shooting.
No, me too.
Like
that's
for
awesome.
any sort of like, I get so pissed. And the fact that he capitalizes on this, it's like basically one big angle shoot, right? To try to get people off their game.
He's just trying to gain EV in ways.
And I think that's nasty. I think it's bad. Like, I think it's like, I don't have enough adjectives. Actually, I do. I'm a writer, but we could go on for the whole show with me saying adjectives of how bad this is. But like, I don't want those kinds of behavior rewarded. Instead, like there are people who are fun and good for the game, right? Like let's get Santa or Gambledore on there. He's good for the game, right? Like
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's like in an enchanted castle for the next few years. He's not allowed out. I don't really know.
Like people who bring like good energy and like showmanship, like that's fine. Like that's good. And there are people who are personalities, and you can be a personality without being an absolute asshole.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And let me say this, since I went first, that sucked. I think all that stuff that you said, that's all horrible stuff. My opinion of him being good for the game, I really mean good for when he's on a final table YouTube stream, only when he's in the hand and he's talking. Like the hands he played a hand with Bryn Kenny, played that hand with David Peters. The hands when he's in the hand and he's talking, I think that's really cool. That's the part where I like.
But you can't get that without all the other stuff,
right?
And then you realize that he's bad. Like when you're playing with him, when you have to deal with that all day.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
It's just, it drains you. And, the World Series is already draining. I've only been here for 1 week, right? So, and I feel, I was earlier today, so 3 days ago, right? But the same day that we're taping this, I taped the Risky Business podcast with my co-host, Nate Silver, because we tape it every week.
Sure.
And we were saying, both of us got in last week. We were saying we've been here for 1 week and it feels like a month, right?
Yeah, no,
like it just really.
It's a time prison.
How long have we been here?
And it just, it already you have to like do so much during the World Series to be present, to be in a good mind frame, to be someone who's in a position to be a winning player.
Sure.
And when I'm at the table, like I don't want to have to deal with that, because that just adds an entirely new level of emotional resources, of cognitive resources. And look, I studied self-control. That was my dissertation. Like I can deal with it, right? My mental game is strong, but I don't want to have to deal with it.
I completely agree with you.
Right? Like, and imagine if there were multiple Martins, like, and if this became a thing.
No, you're
and
right.
If people thought that this was good, like that's the
No,
that's
I remember
the
after the William Kassouf thing, like people there's a bunch of annoying people at the table trying to be Will Kassouf, and it was just like horrible at 1-2, like in Delaware in the back alleys, everyone was being Will Kassouf. But yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I'm back to he sucks again. That sucks. For 20 minutes last night, I enjoyed his antics, but
I want to show a few of the antics. So there's probably people who are watching or listening that aren't familiar because they're not watching the streams about what Martin Kabrhel is all about and what he does. So there's two I'm going to show that Poker News captured. We'll show them back to back. One is Texas Mike, who kind of I know you love, gets in a big hand and busts Texas Mike and is basically like a little needle, like, well, good luck on the next bullet type of thing. And then the other one is, it was a slow roll against Jonathan Jaffe, no doubt about it. Check him out.
Mr. Poker News, no recording. It's Mikey, okay? This is Mikey. Okay, only call Mikey because they're recording it. It would be like looking silly, really. Just don't do anything stupid, okay, man? I don't want to bust you. I have other targets on this table. I'm gonna check it blind just to make it easy for you. 55. Mike, check is allowed. In the 250, from the 250 to million, check is allowed in the tournaments. You don't know? How much? 55? Thank you for racing. Anton, thank you. 55, it's like nothing. Okay, I give you exact. Give him 5, Mike. Give him 5. Check blind, Mike. But just don't do anything stupid. I have other targets, I told you. Just go all in or fold, or check. I know you don't have a check button, but like you can do fold. Mark the hands if you don't want to play. Just mark it.
So many options.
Huh? No. Check is not allowed for you, but like just mark the hand if you don't want to bet. Please. Very good. Put a river, yeah? Now you have to fold everything, I think. Agreed? Because flush draw you would bet. Ace you would bet. Yeah. I think it's time, Mikey. I think it's time. Normally I would go all in, but I like you, I don't go all in, I promise, okay? 2.5 million. 2.5 million. We didn't. We make it. No slip. Oh, I don't have flash, Mike. You do? You have to show Mikey. Ace from the GG, Mike. Good luck. Good luck next bullet. Mikey, good luck next bullet. Normally I would go all in pre-flop and you call, so same thing. Same thing, yeah? Cooler, complete cooler. I am telling you. Normally I would go all in, but I didn't want to bust it. Right? Okay. Last 2 hands, last 3 hands? Very good. I don't want to play anymore on this table. I can't win 1 hand today. Not 1 hand, man. Don't put it there. It's so embarrassment. Like, I can't win 1.
All in.
Count, please. Sometimes you have to gamble. And sometimes not. You said 3.4 about?
3.5 with that chip right there.
How much?
3.5 with
Exactly, yeah? 3.5 exactly, yeah?
3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And I put 8.15, right? Is it correct? $3.5 million, yeah? Right? Anthony, you help me on the flop? I hope you. I hope you do. Oh, it's a bluff. I didn't expect that. Didn't expect that. GG. Not GRO approved. Definitely not GRO approved. Thank you, Anthony. Next time put king, okay, on the flop. Anthony, I'm watching you, man. I was sweating like a turtle.
All right, so there you saw. In regards to the Texas Mike hand, Texas Mike actually tweeted, I still find Martin super amusing. Poker needs villains, and he might not be so bad with the cameras off. Good luck to him and to us on Bullet 2. I actually think he is the same person off the felt, away from the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when the cameras are off.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not for the cameras. That's
He's like
just
running
him.
up and down the aisle.
Well,
like,
you know,
just
in some ways, he might even be more controlled on camera because people are,
Sure.
he's getting more penalties and people are watching it. So like, if he can't stall infinitely on a stream the way
Right.
that he can in real life. Like, if you play with him, you will realize that like one hand can take 10 minutes. And it
No, I
didn't
know
even,
what you mean.
like,
That's so bad.
and because it also at the WSOP, like, imagine, you know, taking too long, you have to call the floor. How long does it take for the floor to get
Yeah.
there? Right? Then the floor finally gets there. Has he had, you know, and it's.
Yeah,
and
they
it
asked
just-
the has he had enough time? The dealer doesn't speak English.
Right.
It's
So,
happened like 4 times recently. The dealers don't speak English to WSP. Makes
so
no
no,
sense.
I think he's the same person on and off stream. By the way, Texas Mike that's good for poker and great energy.
100%.
Right? Like he's also a personality. And he's like, and he has fun energy and like positive vibes.
Sure.
And like you can be a personality and be someone people root for, like again,
Right.
without being an asshole.
There are a couple other
Well said.
videos from Poker Go I want to show here too, where I think Martin has come very close to going over the line. One is he was near the rail. and he actually went. He didn't quite make connection, but if you watch this video, you're going to see he tried to flick a fan's hat off. And then he sees that the camera's on him from Poker Go. So he goes around and literally puts his hand like on the camera and moves it. He has an issue with personal space.
He certainly does.
You can see how he upsets other players. So like watch Negreanu's vlog.
Yeah.
Negreanu does interact with them. Like if you've watched Negreanu in his vlog enough, you can see he's irked by him.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another clip. We're going to show these back to back with Nick Schulman, who really seems to have had enough and had choice words for him. Check it out.
Please, kick these two guys, kick this guy for sure. He has
The guy's mixed martial art champion today.
It's okay. Just kick him out, okay? Mister, no recording. No. I'm sorry, I didn't want to touch you. It was accident. What is going on here?
You tell me, brother.
What is going on here?
You tell me, my man.
I think it's a matrix. Can you put your glasses down, please? For watchers? For spectators? Nick?
What's that, pussy?
Glasses down, please.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Wow.
Recognize that.
Okay, say my name.
Oh,
my. Hello.
Round of applause for Nick Schulman.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Here we go.
All right.
That's the rail. That's what and one round of applause for Jason, the champion. Jason, Nick is more popular, much more. Hey, Nick is much more popular than you are. I'm not surprised, man.
He's a lot more handsome. I get it. Thank you.
Great timing by our production crew for that graphic.
By the way, the personal space thing is absolutely huge.
Yeah, it's
and
insane.
Martin, like the hand that I talked about in the 25K, that's not the only time. He loves like hovering over players and like getting into theirs, and that's not okay. So first of all, like I said, writing a book about cheating. Whenever anyone is behind me, like there have been enough poker scandals, like between Partouche and like, all this stuff and Men the Master, like you
the
want
whole card
like,
camera stuff.
I do not want anyone anywhere behind me. And I say something every time. And like Martin just has no problem just like getting right over you. And if he's at the table and he's next to you, he'd be like this. and it's just there's no need for it. And people can say, oh, well, he doesn't understand, like he doesn't get social cues as much. No, he does, because as you say, like he comes to the line.
Much does,
he very much does. And
I feel like he's on like modafinil or
exactly.
Adderall, and he's
I feel
just
like I would like
all
feed
wild
into that
and
though. I'd be
autistic.
like, you want to hold my hand, Martin?
But I do want to get to this hand that people are
With
saying
David Peters, yes.
is the hand of the series so far. Kyna, did you see this one? I know you made me draft David Peters for our fantasy team. And, he's showing some skills here. What did you think of this hand? We're going to show it in a second.
Yeah.
But, is this what this is why we had to have David Peters?
Yeah, it was pretty boss too. Like he didn't even think that long on it, like I watched it with the timestamps and everything. He must have thought about like maybe like 25, 30 seconds and just all in. Like no, robotic all in. Like, you know what I mean? It was just pretty boss, pretty bold on the bubble too. Yeah,
stone bubble. We're going to show it here. 11 players left. It was a table of 6. The others were playing 5. There's a short stack at the other table. Andrew Lichtenberger, I think. It's from Poker Go. It's a few minutes long, but it's worth it. Like I said, this is the hand of the 2025 WSOP thus far. Check it out.
They don't know you, man. They don't know you. They have no clue you are the poker superstar.
Poker fans saying,
really
win or lose,
terrible.
I'm proud of Dean
I can't
Eggs.
even breathe,
Wow.
Can't even breathe.
Jack
How is
8-8.
this possible?
Oh, how
What
does
kind
that
of
flop? How is this
rail is
possible?
Is it me?
And it's
Can I
important
look
to
at my
note,
cards?
Donnie, that these two were talking about earlier. Negreanu will care the least out of anybody that it's the bubble. Like you've heard it in the vlog, right?
He doesn't. He never.
Not nearly as ICM conscious.
So, let's do
Wants to win the tournament.
like a bet. About $200. No, 200 euros. Make it expensive for the Romanian.
200, a minimum bet here from Kabrhel. He flops
Bubble.
trip 8s.
Bubble. No, not like that.
A call from Daniel. Daniel also has backdoor
I think
diamonds.
it's
and
crazy.
Peters has backdoor
Playing on the bubble.
spades.
When there is the guy
Again,
who is
how
gonna
does this
bust
flop
now.
roll off?
It's crazy. I can't even breathe.
Once again, we are on the stone bubble
I do
of this
everything for you, Bryn,
$250,000
okay? I will
buy-in
make it.
tournament, the biggest
Don't
poker
worry.
tournament of
You
the
will
summer.
get your 16,000 profit. You have 2 bullets? 2 bullets, yeah? 16,000 profit. It's not bad for you for today's work. It's not bad.
750. Whatever's meant to be.
Check raise from D. Peters makes it 750,000. And this check raise here could ultimately save Daniel. Like, there's a world where it goes check raise like this, call. Maybe Daniel just says, you know what?
Or at the very least, he calls here, but it saves him on future streets.
Exactly. SD Ugly rooting for the case jack on the turn. Poker fan said D-Negs can get away.
Alex Foxen over here to sweat the action.
They are hand for hand, so
one
hand at each table.
Wow, D-Negs is going to be able to get away.
And a quick fold out of D-Negs, understandable.
1-4-25, I said. 1-4-25, I said.
Loses the absolute minimum
correct,
again.
I think you said all in. They both said all in, call to the back, go.
Action back over to Peters. He makes the call. This pot, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, is 4.5 million.
On the stone cold bubble of the 250K super high roller. Wow, spade on the turn.
Spades coming in. Peters, ace of spades in his hand. I think Daniel just told Alex what he had, and Alex said, wow. And you can hear them talking about the hand. They are mic'd up. The players can't hear them at the table, but we can hear them.
You might be safe.
Kabrhel checks back. 9 of clubs on the end.
Yeah. The rules for fucking main events. And it's totally fine in main events. I have no issue with the rule.
2 million.
2 million is the bet.
Time.
Mullen.
Oh my!
How much? Oh no! Woo! Oh my gosh!
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, this is sick if you're Martin Kabrhel.
We keep that on my
Peters here having a couple of things working for him. 1, ace of spades in his hand. 2, the jack does work to block some hands that can make full houses. Look at the crowd circulate. Not only do we have all the fans and the media, we have all the players fascinated by this. And Martin lays it down. D. Peters.
Oh my!
All right, so there you have it, an absolute boss move from David Peters. And yeah, Martin Kabrhel kind of get put in his place a little bit there. There was a poll on PokerNews.com. What are your thoughts on Martin Kabrhel? 42% said he keeps me entertained. 40% said he's annoying. 11% said he creates a hostile environment in high rollers, and 8% said indifferent. So you add up those, it's 58% kind of against him, 42% for him. All right. Well, let us move on.
Well, there is an 11% indifference. We'll just move on.
Indifference, sure.
You still have more against than for.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out.
Yeah, there's more negative than positive for sure.
And he raises with pocket jacks from the button. Pocket jacks don't bother me anymore. I play with a 48-card deck.
I probably shouldn't have called that.
And I probably shouldn't have married someone I met at a Jiffy Lube.
Oh, let's go! Yes!
Hey, great hand, buddy. Well, where do you keep the good snacks? It's not just about playing. It's about winning and proving you've got what it takes. Download now and join the action.
Well, Well, let's talk something more positive, and that is you, Maria. You have mentioned it already. You do the
After
podcast.
I've been an asshole.
That's all right. You do the Risky Business podcast, PokerStars Team Pro, author of one of my favorite poker books,
Thank
The
you.
Biggest Bluff. You mentioned you're working on another book right now. What's the status there? When is this book slated to hit the shelves?
Hello, dear editor and agent, and everyone waiting for me to get my act together. I really, really hope to have a draft done by the end of this year, so that we can see it out next year. Writing books is a slow process, and you know, it always takes a while. And because I have so many other things going on, it's just a constant balancing act, right? Between the weekly podcast, I have a weekly Substack as well called The Leap. So that takes something. And, you know, Nate and I, it's great to have a co-host, as you guys know, for a podcast, because it's not all you, but it's still, you know, we tape every single week, sometimes more than once, because we do some breaking news stuff, you know, like Martin Kabrhel type of things.
Yeah, sure.
Groundbreaking international news.
Groundbreaking.
Exactly. And I'm working on, you know, some other projects as well. So it gets slowed down. And poker, obviously, right? So, you know, with PokerStars, I play the EPTs. I'm here for the World Series right now. And you know, there's only a finite amount of time in the day.
Right.
But I feel very strongly about this book. I think it's such an important topic. I know I have some people who agree on this show.
100%.
But it's not just about poker. It's about cheating in games in general. So everything from baseball
awesome.
to pub trivia night.
Oh, I'm really excited about this. I want to read after you finish the draft.
So anyone listening to this, as I do this call out in all the interviews I have, if you have good cheating stories in any game whatsoever, send them my way. I would love to hear them.
Okay, great.
I saw one of your tweets earlier this month too. It was a picture of yourself, Caitlin Komeski, and Jen Shahad about a women's only event that was awarding a seat into the NAPT women's event, which Kyna has won before a couple years back. What was that whole experience like, that tournament, the Summer Stacks Women's Sunday?
So unfortunately, because I was online, I didn't get to play. But it's really great that PokerStars actually is doing a huge investment into women's events. They're doing a women's high roller series. They're, I think, adding some new women's events at the NAPT in November. And they did, you know, the big series in London back this last winter.
Yeah, it was fun.
And they're doing a lot of really fun events like the hybrid tag team, right? Where you have one male, one female, the 50-50 split. Kind of hear you laughing. Did you play that?
Yeah, we did. It was actually really funny though too, because like it was the one of it like where like KJ had to go up to the poker room and try and recruit men because there weren't enough men for all the ladies who wanted to play.
Interesting.
That's amazing.
And it's just like she had to go up and ask them to play.
Don't you love that you had a poker tournament where you had to recruit men?
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, there's, you know, I think it's great to have initiatives that are bringing more women to the game, because that's the untapped demographic, right? Like you got over 50% of the population, and
it's a lot.
Certainly under 5% of any field other than a women's event in any poker tournament. Last year at the main event, I think was not necessarily a record low, but it was the lowest women's.
Really?
All right, one thing that you mentioned was the NAPT coming up in November. There is going to be a bunch of different events, including the $300 women's event, $50K guarantee on that, and then their first ever women's high roller at $1,100. There was a little video online that you shared and PokerStars put out. Here it is.
The NAPT is back this November, my babies.
This is going to be such an amazing event back in fabulous Las Vegas. I had such an amazing time at the NAPT last year. It was one of my favorite events.
Stay up to date through the PokerStars channels.
Come play with us this November.
I'll see you in Las Vegas.
Be there.
All right, I want to thank a sponsor of this episode, and that is WPT Global. Right now, they are offering their satellites for the upcoming Summer Million Playground Festival, which boasts more than 200,000 in guaranteed prize pools. You can satellite your way in for as little as $5. They are awarding seats to the Mystery Bounty and the 1,150 main event. Check it out on PokerNews.com. And speaking of WPT Global, it is time for recent tournament winners presented by WPT Global, starting with a big one, a bracelet winner in the 100K high roller, Joao Vieira. Did you guys see this one? That was took it down for $2.6 million.
He's on my fantasy team.
Yay.
I love Joao. He's
a monster. He's really
amazing.
good.
And he's such nice guy. Such
Super
good.
nice
And every
guy.
time you play with him, like the positive energy vibes, just like MMA.
Yeah.
So it's so easy to root for him.
They were talking about his statistics too on the stream the other day, and how they looked at it and like he wins something like 86% of his all-ins, like historically.
Really?
I think that's what they
That's
said.
crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I didn't know that.
It's too many all-ins.
Televised all-ins.
Something that was some sort of statistics like that where I was like, really?
Cool,
like, wow.
He took that down for his 4th bracelet. And then David ODB Baker, he took a tournament down for his 4th bracelet. I believe it was his first No Limit Hold'em bracelet. This was the $5,000 Seniors No Limit Hold'em, 801 entries, and took it down for $646,000. I think the second largest of his career.
Yeah,
That's
wow.
amazing.
ODB, I got 2 teams in his fantasy league that are not doing
Is
so
that his
hot.
first old guy bracelet?
I think so. Yeah.
Right, so it's not an open event. Yeah.
True.
And then over at the Wynn, I wanted to give a shout out to Michael Wang, because this is a
that's my guy.
nice guy.
Yeah,
nice guys. I was at his WPT Wynn at the playground in Canada last October, I think it was. And here he is at the Wynn, taking down the $1,600 buy-in, No Limit Hold'em, massive field, 2,405 runners,
Wow.
winning it for $555,000.
He's
I think that was a career high score for him.
He's so good.
It's amazing. He is very good. He's a really nice guy. I hate playing at his table.
I like playing at his table because we get to talk a bunch, and then one of us 4-bets each other light. It's really sick.
Yeah.
Is it your guy of the week? Guy of the week.
That's my guy of the month, dude.
Yeah,
That's
but
Michael fucking Wang, son.
He's great. Congratulations.
A true grinder.
Good for the game.
He wins. He's drinking till like 3 a.m. and then 10 a.m. hand 1. He's there for the next day.
Yeah, I saw that.
My boy does not fuck around.
Well, I want to talk a little bit of somber news. Now, earlier this year, we talked about Miami John Cernuto, who had passed away at the age of 81 after a battle with colon cancer. They had done a celebration of life. They wanted to save it to the 2025 World Series of Poker. It was last weekend, so I actually took time out, and it was a very moving affair. They had a lot of friends, family, and poker players there. Just some that were there off the top of my mind are Ari Engel, Linda Johnson, Alan Kessler, Karina Jett, Norman Chad. The list goes on.
That's nice.
But then more than that, the family was there, right? So we see these people as poker players often, and then you get his brother and sister going up there to speak, his daughter, his niece, all very moving. And they had memorabilia there of his poker career and family photos and things like that. Just a very special affair. And then I'm going to show a clip here in a minute. James Woods, famous Hollywood actor, was really good friends with Miami John Cernuto, advocated for him to be in the Poker Hall of Fame. He wasn't. He got nominated last year and actually got nominated again this year, which we'll talk about here in a second because that list recently came out. But James Woods went up and gave a speech. Now, whether you like James Woods or not as an actor or because of his political voice, in this arena where it's a celebration of life and he's up there talking about his friend, I thought it was very moving because he combined that with poker. Check it out.
But just so you know, we all know how wonderful John was with his family and how much he cared about his friends. And people, I say, John, I'd almost resent it when people say, well, John is like, what is he, like your coach? And I said, no. And he really wasn't. I mean, we started talking about poker, and we'd always talk about poker, but I talk about poker with a lot of my poker friends, not as talented as John was, of course, but I mean, he was a master of the game. But people thought that's what we talked about. At an age like mine, and many of us in this room, you don't make new friends very often. And I was very fortunate, after being kind of tired of working in my business, to make a lot of friends in this room who play poker at different ages and different persuasions. We think differently about a lot of things, but we're all bonded by poker and we love it. And John loved poker. Literally in the last weeks of his life, I'd call John, and John had the courage to say, James, this is the end for me. I'm okay with it. As long as I've taken care of my family, I'm strong and I'm okay with it. I said, because, you know, how do you chat about things? He said, well, what stupid things have you done in poker lately? I said, well, let's talk about it. And I'm literally talking to John on his deathbed about poker hands. And I thought, you know, John, is that okay that we're doing this? He goes, man, every time I talk about poker, I feel like I'm going to live forever. And I really feel today with all his friends, you're not living because of poker, John. You're living because of the people in this room. Okay? The people in this room are why you will live forever. Because in every single picture you will see over his entire life, every single picture, and it reminded me of my late brother. The only thing that I once said to my mother, Mom, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to smile again. When I lost my brother, and she said, Jimmy, if you were the first to go, would you want him to live within that sadness? And I said, no, I wouldn't. She said, then start smiling and remember the good things. And when I look at Debbie, and I look at Tony, and I look at Alex, and all the wonderful relatives and friends in this room, you know, and everybody's smiling because John, I'm waiting for him to walk in the door, quite frankly. It's so strange, you know.
All right, so there you have it. I have an article on PokerNews.com remembering Miami John, and our condolences to his friends and family. Certainly will be missed. But as I mentioned, he is nominated for this year's Poker Hall of Fame class. This recently came out. I'm going to read the list real quick, and I'm going to ask you guys if you had to pick one, because there's only going to be one that gets in this year. So you have Miami, Miami John, Jeremy Osmus, Ted Forrest, Phil Galfond, first time because he's 40 now, Kathy Liebert, Mike Matisow, Matt Savage, Ishai Scheinberg, Nick Schulman, and Scott Seaver also both turned 40, so first time eligible. That is a hell of a list.
It's just these rules are the dumbest rules of all time. Like, let's nominate one of these people. What are we doing here? That's insane.
Nobody disagrees with that, but the WSOP is very stubborn and won't budge on this
right now. Why does the WSOP control the Hall of Fame?
I'll go first. I would say probably Nick Schulman, because I think as like a whole, you look at like the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame should be looked at as contribution to poker overall, and like winningness as a player, right? Or, you know, industry affiliation. And I think he just checks all those boxes. He's a great guy. He's fun to watch. That'd be my vote.
Mike?
Let's go Maria first. Let's do some parody in here. I want to see.
All right, now I'm going to go someone who I don't think anyone here is going to be choosing. If you're looking at contribution to poker as a whole and poker as what we have it today, I think Isai needs to get in. Isai has needed to get in for years and years and years. He was one of the first names I knew about in poker when I was researching the Biggest Bluff and just like figuring out how did we get to where we are.
Right.
I think he was just such a pivotal figure in building the world of poker that existed. Like, I benefited from the fact that he existed, and the fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And he was so good for the players, right? Like, in the sense that he did not need to make everyone whole after Black Friday. Like, he took players that were not his and like paid them back.
Yeah.
And made sure that like the industry as a whole could continue.
Right.
And I think that he's probably not going to get in again because the Nick Schulmans of the world are have the cigar.
Damn it, Nick Schulman, you're ruining everything.
And like they're top of mind, and that's why the voting, by the way, needs to change.
Yeah.
But I think that that he absolutely has to be in there.
I was actually going to say Isai as well, because I've long said that. Like, I love poker history. I love the Poker Hall of Fame. They're very passionate about it, but it is kind of a farce until he gets in. Nobody's done more for poker. PokerStars founder. It's just, incredible. Yeah. I don't think he will get in, like you said. I would say.
But he has to.
Yeah, he should be already.
Everyone, give your votes to Isai. And I love, Phil Galfond is a good friend. He was one of my mentors and coaches and like made me the poker player I am today. Like, obviously, there's so many people I want to see in from that list. I love Nick. Like, I just gave a little dig at him, because he is, such a cool cat.
All right.
Like, cool, there are so many people on that list who should be in.
Right.
But like the fact that Isai isn't, just like,
no, it's
nice to see
crazy.
Kathy get nominated too. I mean, I don't think she'll get him, but like she's been around a lot, did stuff for women in poker. So nice to see her at least on that list.
Mike,
let me just say, I think a lot of people, or a lot of the sports organizations that have Hall of Fames, organizations, industry, et cetera, there's different wings usually so that multiple people can get in. Doing this one person in the whole world of poker, one singular person gets to wear the crown this year. It's like, it's insane. So I think almost every person on this list deserves to be in, right? I mean, Ausmus, Scott Seaver, Kathy Liebert, like basically every single person on this list deserves to be in. I'm going to go Scott Seaver, though, because that's my guy, you know?
All right.
I love me some Scott Seaver action.
And this is only going to get worse, by the way. Like, Tom Dwan's turning 40.
Imagine
Jason Kuhn turns 40 in
Kuhn,
August.
Tom Dwan's dead for the Hall of Fame, for sure.
You're gonna see all these people. Like, imagine, when all of these crushers are in there, like basically the Hall of Fame is going to break.
It's already broken.
It's already broken.
Yeah.
And it's going to just like collapse.
Yeah. Right.
So like the rest of society, we're good then. We're good.
Well, the Hall of Fame inductee will be announced during the event number 92, which is the $1,979 buy-in. 1979 was the year the Poker Hall of Fame was established. The Poker Hall of Fame Bounty No Limit Hold'em tournament on Friday, July 11th. So,
and that's the tournament where they take the bounties out of the prize pool and give free buy-ins to all the main event winners, right?
Yeah. Well,
I just want to make sure,
yeah.
and it comes out of the prize pool. Okay, just making sure it's that tournament.
All right. Well, we will wait and see who is inducted into the Poker Hall of Fame in 2025. We need to wrap this show up. It's been a good one. It's been a long one, but I know you guys are anxious to get back over to the Horseshoe in Paris. There are some tournaments that are starting up.
Let's go, David Peters. Well, I guess when this comes out, we'll know what happened.
I'm going to go over there now and meet Haley. So
same.
Root for
awesome. Maybe you'll get some behind the scenes footage for the next episode.
All right.
Speaking of, there are 2 episodes a week during the 2025 World Series of Poker at 8 a.m. Pacific time every Thursday and Sunday.
Thursday and
Those
Sunday.
are the days.
I'm going to get them down
it.
eventually.
We do that.
And Maria, thanks for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you at the NAPT in November for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. We'll be back on Sunday. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.